hippies say they have dropped out of Western civilization. They gyrate to Indian raga rock, chant Vedic hymns, and practice their version of Buddhism. Frontiers, the hippies say, are in the soul, and they seek to enter, puffing the current fad in psychedelic weeds. Sometimes they call themselves the protest generation. They say make love, not war. They spend a lot of time on barricades. President Lyndon. In October, thousands of peace demonstrators marched on the Pentagon. Militants stormed the building. Hundreds were arrested.
Token and give your mind a ride through Fun City, number one city. Fun City, city number one. Teeny poppers smiling in 1,000 places. Boop, 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 boop. Hippies, baby flowers on their pretty faces. Wild city, it's a now city. Fun City, city number one. Love and being every kind of happiness. In city, Wind City, smoking, joking. Get yourself a token and give your mind a ride through Fun City, number one city. Fun City, city number one.
The hippies strike back. They hold a mock funeral to symbolize the death of the term hippie. Complete with make-believe corpse, the funeral also marks the birth of a new name for the sandals, beard, and bead set. They want to be known as America's free men, or freebies. That figures. A funeral pyre with the fake corpse removed and some classy Indian dancing highlight the three-day ceremony in the Haight-Ashbury section of San Francisco. Flower power on parade. Whether the elaborate event makes any difference or not is pure conjecture. Hippie or no, it's enough to give one the freebie-jeebies.
New York, New York, it's the ultimate game. It's the ultimate game. New York City is a tiger of night. It's a man making music, an eagle of light. It's a river of lightning. It's a garden of flame. New York, New York, it's the ultimate game. With millions of players for the ultimate prize. Of It fills up the sky with 1,000 steams. It's a river of lightning. It's a garden of flame. New York, New York. It's the ultimate game. It's the ultimate game. New York, New York, New York, New York.
London hippies refuse to be upstaged by Paris, so they hold their own hippie fashion show in a psychedelic Chelsea showroom. It's a bloomin' wearing, that's what it is. The flower people easily mix ancient with modern shirtless, but the prices are like reasonable, about 27 bob now. So hippies don't drop out, dress up and turn on. Cape Cod hippies conduct a paint-in at the famous Provincetown Art Colony, where all a body has to do is stand around and automatically he's in the show. Notice the chain reaction enthusiasm. The psychedelic murals dress up anybody's epidermis, but there are certain technical problems encountered when the artist is confronted by a ticklish situation. This one is certainly the cat's whiskers, but I've seen the one I want. Just wrap it up. She'll look lovely in the den.
But now, there are many young London designers who are as well known in New York and Paris as they are at home. Their influence has helped to make London's shops and their shoppers some of the most uniquely, even bizarrely exciting you're likely to find anywhere in the world, especially for young people with small purses.
England swings like a pendulum do.
And nowhere does it swing more than in Chelsea's very trendy King's Road.
The Tower of Big Ben, the rosy red cheeks of the little city.
In Petticoat Lane,
Like you know, man, you gotta let go a little.
Just hang loose and tell me what you think the hassle is. He comes in late, boxes 5 or 6 rounds, smokes a cigar and goes home. Way out, man, way out. What? Poetic justice. For years, the man has been taking it out on his hide, wouldn't even spit on him. Now the man gets nervous, says, come on in. And he won't even let on he's been asked. Oh, it is way out, baby. Now you gotta get straight. You either with him or against him, Dick. I mean, he's a little noisy, but you know that's his thing. You got your thing. Me and him, we got no problems. We're cool with each other. Well, he's getting paid for it. What do you call that? Reparations, man, reparations. Nice. How you doing, brother? You need anything?
Give me a cigarette.
Ah, there you go. Anybody hassling you?
No, everything's cool, man. Think I'll split.
You might get the ding, remember? What's your...
Seeing the same age as I was. It's only been about
Top of the flames higher.
6 months or so, something like that, 5. And both of them are dead from overdoses of junk. One died on 25 yellows and hit a smack. And I think he got murdered.
Do you think dope should be legal?
You mean all dope? No, all dope shouldn't be legal.
Why not? If a person's going to shoot it, they're going to shoot it.
You know, dope is the problem. If it wasn't dope, it would be something else.
Yeah.
If there was no heroin in the world, you'd find another way to destroy yourself. Why do you shoot?
Oh, it's just I dig it, you know. It's not legal. It's like, it's a good feeling. Not that I'm mad at someone. Sometimes, you know, if something happens, you know, you hit some junk and just try to forget your troubles.
Well, you getting loaded?
I did.
In this age of protests, one of the most recent finds 4,000 Londoners decrying British support for U.S. action in Vietnam. There were a few minor scuffles, but no arrests. The demonstrators were stopped from approaching Prime Minister Wilson's Downing Street home. Organized by the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, mimics of Queen Elizabeth presented mock medals and said the war was a wicked obscenity. Madrid University, scene of the largest anti-American rally in recent years. Posters, leaflets, slogans, and student speeches all carried a vehemence seldom seen here before. Some 3,000 undergraduates attended. An American flag is burned at the height of the demonstration. Both President Johnson and Francisco Franco were vilified. A new low in public protest, added strain on Spanish-American relations. Over 4,000 anti-hate people jammed Detroit's Belle Isle Park in another example of the recent social phenomenon that's sweeping the country. It's a giant love-in, close relative to the be-in. Sort of a happy happening, laced with the rites of spring. The slogans were just as frank as ever. Hippies, would-be hippies, and just plain folks made a colorful scene with wild costumes, uninhibited dancing, and general high frolic. Group therapy like this outdrew the Detroit Tigers that day. The end, man.
The post-war babies have grown. In the 1970s, they represented more than half of the populations of the NATO nations. New generations that began putting a more relaxed face on societies made stern and austere by the lean decades of the 40s and 50s. Not all of the other generations approved. Yet the most violent critics of far-out youth could hardly deny that it was a better youth than the sad 1948 pattern.
But your family, man, they stick by you. And like, I never realized it until I had problems. Until I left home and I said, the hell with all of you. I don't want to live with you anymore. I don't need you, and I'm going to prove it. And I spread. And I went far away, so far away that, you know, I couldn't even call them because it cost too much money. And I got myself into all kinds of crazy things. And then I found myself alone. And I had nobody. I had no friends. And the friends that I used to have, I couldn't depend on them. They have their own lives. And I ended up back with my family. And my family took me back. And they didn't have to. I don't know about you guys, but all my life my mother's been saying, you just wait. You just wait when all your friends leave. I'm still going to be here. And I've been hearing that all my life. And I hate it. I hate to hear it. But you know something? She's right.
And I think we were able to maintain a friendship and just kind of, I don't know, it sounds impossible. I think we were able to, like, put down the wall of male and female and just be two people who had a friendship and had feelings for one another and could relate and communicate and try to understand and help one another. And I think it's very possible to have a platonic relationship, you know, with somebody of the opposite sex. I know I have it, and I feel good about that.
If you have to have a lot of friends. You can't just stay with the same people all the time. You'd be a very close person if you did.
But I think that friendship is just as an important love as, you know, a boy-girl love, you know, like, and sometimes it's even more involved.
But an ever-growing hippie subculture turned to other sources to turn on. Hundreds of thousands descended on Woodstock, New York for a rock music festival. There was a lack of everything, yet the enormous crowd endured all with good humor. Vice President Agnew
The intense use of drugs in this country has made us aware of the variety of mind-altering experiences available.
The time is ripe for people to have their behavior modified. It will be modified whether scientists do it or not.
These men are scientists.
We have directly placed into our hands all the tools, all the facilities that we need to make the manipulations, to test our hypothesis about how to bring about behavioral modification, behavioral change, behavioral control. I mean, it's not an accidental kind of thing. People in our field are deliberately trying to do it, ostensibly for altruistic kinds of purposes.
It isn't so much the altruism, although that may play some part, but I'm just curious. You know, I'm just damn curious about what's going on with drugs and in the brain and behavior, memory in general.
I was particularly interested in drug research. And for maybe kind of a strange sort of reason, I was interested in drug abuse because psychological dependence or physical dependence I see as being very demeaning.
The dope dealer supplies drugs for customers who experiment with mind and perception at their own risk.
The dealer is concerned with dealing to people that he knows, people that trust him and his judgment of what he's selling. And the pusher is the person that will just take anything that comes his way, you know, regardless of quality, and put it on the street. A dealer with a progressive consciousness, he's going to deal only drugs that won't affect the people, his friends, in adverse manners, which are the organic drugs. You know, you got a good lid to sell, and then you sit down and you try it out, and you get stoned together, and you laugh a lot, and drink a few beers, and have a nice evening along with, the sale. It's not necessarily being there to sell or to buy dope. It's there to make a personal encounter. Like dope is illegal in society, but it's not even looked upon as being illegal within the culture. It's illegal in that you realize that, well, if you're caught with it, you're going to be busted. That's how illegal it is.
E vale la pena di attraversare il mondo per assaggiarli. Haight-Ashbury è diventato famoso per le stravaganze degli hippies e non per il pesce, e lo spettacolo è gratis. Salite l'hotel Grattacielo in una...
There are the young, immature adolescents who are trying everything. They're sort of garbage cans, and they'll try anything they get their hands on. They decide they want to try the downers for a while, and barbiturates are easily available, and they'll drop varying amounts of barbiturates. It's a rather erratic kind of pattern. Then there are the young adults and middle-aged adults who are alcoholics and get into a mixed bag with alcohol and barbiturates.
Pill poppers of all descriptions share a need for some kind of internal or external change. They want to be made not more than what they are, but more than what they think they are.
Like when you're loaded, like you have all kind of confidence in yourself, and you think you're doing things right, but you're really not, like you're just nowhere.
When I was using speed, I was losing a lot of weight. I contracted hepatitis 3 times, had heart problems.
For one brief moment, the person on pills may tell himself he's got all the answers. Actually, he's not.
Thousands of demonstrators opposed to the Vietnam War assembled in the nation's capital for a mass protest. For the most part orderly, minor scuffles did occur between the demonstrators and hecklers. A 3-hour parade takes the demonstrators across the Potomac on their way to the Pentagon. The crowd, estimated at about 50,000 persons, was a loose confederation of some 150 groups and included adults, students, even children. It is at the Pentagon where the first test of strength comes. Military police contain the crowd, but clashes soon break out. Federal marshals arrest several who attempt to break through the protective line. Reinforcing the marshals, a second wave of MPs with fixed bayonets in scabbards move into position. Some 400 demonstrators are arrested, 2 soldiers are injured, and tear gas is used. 6 break into a Pentagon side door, but are quickly apprehended in the day-long disturbance. The next day, campfires are lighted to hold off the autumn chill. The same weekend saw nationwide demonstrations supporting American GIs in Vietnam. The Pentagon protest was less violent in its second day of sitting in. The 2-day protest ends with over 600 arrested and the widespread opinion that the demonstration made everyone a loser.
Relaxed or sleepy are produced by the billions. The only certainties are death and taxes. Both run high because of Vietnam. To most ordinary citizens, it has become obvious the war is not being won. The anti-war moratorium now includes those who have never demonstrated before. They want to speed up Nixon's promised withdrawal. There are still almost 500,000 troops in Southeast Asia. As inflation mounts in the big cities, bankers and businessmen join the anti-war protest.
Soon become clear, however, that the youthful protesters of 1969 could not be ignored by the president or by anyone.
And I'll be right with you.
George, I don't know.
Now, Pat, we've got to get together on this. We're celebrating, remember?
Yeah, but...
You can't possibly know anything about it unless you try it. Pisces, you know, water people. We're kind of special. Oh, here, let me lay a number on you. You have a roach clip? Yeah, here you go.
Now we'll sit down here and do ourselves a number. Now, the objective is to get all that smoke into your lungs and as much as you can and hold it just for as long as you can.
George, I really don't want to.
Now, come on. It won't hurt to try. Take it.
You can never tell if marijuana will hurt you. It is inconsistent and unpredictable.
Take it all the way
Some
down.
grass may be weak
Take another
and some very strong, and each person will react differently to the same batch.
Now you'll get better.
What's the effect on it?
Well, just take a few more tokes off this and you can find out. Keep going. Oh, come on.
Most pot smokers feel compelled to turn others on and will exert pressure on their closest friends. Anyone who does not share his fascination of getting stoned is an outsider.
That isn't that bad. Here. Just take the joint and get it all into your lungs.
Marijuana's immediate grip is on the central nervous system. The stronger the grass, the greater the distortion of perception and judgment. Depending on the personality and mood of the user, illusions or hallucinations may occur. Sights and sounds are exaggerated. Associations may be disorganized, and time and space relationships are lost. You may have a feeling of well-being, or just the opposite, great anxiety. You are not yourself. You are not in control.
All right, that's it.
right next door.
Yeah. The whole summer.
At a critical time when young people must make decisions that will shape their future, the people who become dependent upon marijuana are dependent on an escape that makes the unreal seem beautiful and the reality of life seem unnecessary.
No. Pat, wake up. Come on, Pat. It's no time to crash. We're gonna get some munchies. Come on. Well, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Look, George, Pat's still pretty drowsy. She can come with me and lie down.
We've got to get together on this. We're celebrating, remember? We've got to. Yeah, but you can't possibly know anything about it unless you try it.
I wouldn't let him come 5 feet of this car. This is real.
Take it down in Debo.
You're going to have to choose.
What's the effect on it?
Take it. Well, won't hurt too much. A few more totes off this. Find out. Come on.
In the 60s, we saw new drugs. Everywhere, young people were turning on, dropping out. The hippies, pot, speed, acid. Alcohol seemed to take a back seat. And now we are in the 70s. Today's teenagers are different from all the others. They know the drugs of the 60s, and they have chosen to mix them with booze. It's like a giant soda shop with every concoction available. And the saddest thing is, this seems to be all right, because we as a society accept alcohol and do not consider it a drug. I'm Tom Jarrell.